You've got a global superstar, a surprise court date, and an entire city just holding its breath. Today, we're going to deconstruct Chris Brown's totally unexpected appearance in a London court. It's a story that's as much about legal strategy as it is about the power of silence in an age where there's just constant noise. So let's break down this legal chess match and really explore what it tells us about celebrity, justice, and the power of perception. You know, this quote from our source material, it just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures the bombshell of Chris Brown just showing up. We expect a whole spectacle from stars like him, right? Flashing cameras, a huge entourage. But what London got was something way more interesting, complete and total quiet. And that silence, that's really the first move in this whole high-stakes game. This wasn't some media circus. It was a deliberate, almost eerie non-event that, ironically, became the headline itself. So what was the first clue that this was a totally calculated move? Well, the paparazzi were nowhere to be seen. I mean, think about it. In a city like London, that just doesn't happen by accident. No media outlets knew he was coming, which really points to a tightly controlled operation designed to avoid the very spotlight he usually commands. And it wasn't just the cameras that were missing. There was no PR team, no handlers, nobody there to spin the narrative. It was just Chris Brown. For a celebrity of his level, especially when facing legal trouble, it's practically unheard of. So in a city that absolutely thrives on spectacle, Brown's most powerful move turned out to be silence. That quiet, on its own, became the story. It was this brilliant strategic maneuver that left everyone, from his fans to the reporters, scrambling to figure out what on earth was going on. Okay, so what even brought Chris Brown to a London courtroom in the first place, right? To get that answer, we've got to rewind the clock a bit. This court date didn't just appear out of thin air. It actually has deep roots in an alleged incident that had, until now, mostly just faded into rumor. All right, so picture this. Nearly 2 years ago, a scuffle allegedly breaks out outside a London nightclub. At the time, the details were super murky, the stories were all over the place, and then the whole thing just went quiet. But now that long-dormant incident is front and center of this entire trial. And you have to understand, this isn't Brown's first run-in with the UK. Not by a long shot. His history with the country is a real roller coaster of rejection and redemption, which makes this current legal battle all the more fascinating. Just look at this timeline. After being denied entry for years following his 2009 US conviction, the UK finally reopens its doors to him in 2023 for a bunch of sold-out shows. He even called it a second chance. The irony here is just staggering. The very city that welcomed him back with open arms is now the one that could decide his entire fate. Okay, so let's get into the courtroom itself, because this is where the legal battle is playing out like a high-stakes game of chess, and every single move has been meticulously planned. And see, in the UK, the rules of this game are a little different. Prosecutors have a really high bar to clear. They have to prove not just that harm happened, but that there was clear intent behind it. But, and this is a big but, the court can also consider context and past patterns, which makes this an incredibly complex case for both sides. So what we have are two completely different stories clashing head-on. On one side, the accuser claims Brown's temper just flared during an argument and he was struck. On the other side, the defense is trying to take that story apart piece by piece, arguing that video evidence tells a different tale and that any contact was totally unintentional. It's one night, viewed through two completely different realities. But then, just when you think you've got the story figured out, bam! A new witness comes forward, and their testimony reportedly contradicted earlier statements in these subtle but absolutely crucial ways. All of a sudden, you started hearing whispers that maybe the case wasn't as clear-cut as it first seemed. And with the whole case hanging in the balance inside that courtroom, the story just explodes beyond those four walls. Because this case is about so much more than just Chris Brown. It's become a kind of global referendum on celebrity, on justice, and on accountability. Which brings us right back to that big question about the silence. I mean, for an artist who has never, ever been shy about using social media to control his own narrative, this quiet is deafening. Is it a sign of maturity, or is it a bold legal strategy to just let the process play out far away from the public eye? And while that legal battle was raging inside the courtroom, a whole other war was being fought online. As you can see here, social media was just completely split down the middle. One side launched this fierce defense, pointing to his personal growth. The other side demanded accountability, citing his past patterns. And the ripple effect was truly global. This case sparked brand new debates about celebrity accountability in the US, while over in Europe, the media started asking why major festivals are still booking artists with violent histories. In a way, it wasn't just Chris Brown on trial. It felt like the entire entertainment industry was, too. Maybe the person who captured the heart of this moment best was the presiding magistrate who said, "Celebrity does not exempt one from scrutiny, nor from fairness." It's such a powerful reminder that in the eyes of the law, fame is supposed to be completely irrelevant. And that leaves us with this one final thought to chew on. When a star is on trial, are we really watching a legal process unfold, or are we just watching a battle for public perception? This case is a fascinating, real-time exploration of that exact question, and the final verdict, both in the court and out of it, has yet to be written.